Shabbat Shalom. Last week, thank God, the remaining living hostages came home. We felt immense relief and deep gratitude, and we were ready for an outpouring of celebration at Simchat Torah. Watching the videos of the reunited families, many of us cried a lot over those first days. I keep thinking about some of the first words of Matan Zangauker's mother to her son. She said in Hebrew, "Atem chozrim habayta, kulchem chozrim habayta." You're coming home. You're all coming home. Ani ohevetcha, toda la'el. I love you. Thank God. And then she said, Hamilchama nigmara. Ein milchama. She said, the war is over. There is no war. You might remember that Matan's face appeared on a hostage poster here on this bima for many months. We finally took it down after the hostages were returned. But with the highest respect for Matan's mother and understanding that she was comforting her traumatized son. The war is not over. We are not at peace. You'll notice that we have left the yellow chairs empty now and waiting. We haven't worked out what to do with them exactly, or how or when. We don't have a final answer. And there's an important reason for that, in part because not all the hostages have returned home. In all likelihood, tragically, some deceased hostages may never return home. So we are in a complicated place. Cautious joy mixed with enduring grief. Gratitude mixed with exhaustion. Relief mixed with unease. And in that strange, ambiguous mix, that living in between, is exactly where our Torah meets us this week in Parshat Noach. After the flood that destroyed the earth, except for Noah and his family, and the animal representatives, of course, we read from the Torah, "The fountains of the deep and the floodgates of the sky were stopped up, and the rain from the sky was held back. The waters receded steadily from the earth. And Noah opened the window of the ark that he had made and sent out the raven. It went to and fro until the waters had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove to see whether the waters had decreased from the surface of the ground. But the dove could not find a resting place for its foot, and so returned to him, returned to the ark, for there was water over all of the earth still. So putting out his hand, Noah took the dove back into the ark with him." Today, too, it feels that the dove has not yet found her resting place. She's still waiting in the ark, nestled in Noah's rough palm, preparing for her next hopeful flight. We are now in the part of the story after the flood, but before the dove finds her resting place, before the dove finds dry land. And we're maybe miles before the rainbow. This is life after a period of devastation and destruction and despair, but before true healing. So what do we do now? What do we do in this mixed, uneasy, in-between kind of a place? First, we have to have the courage to act. We have to be ready. We have to leave the ark. Noah does not have such courage at first. after he tests the waters 4 times with the raven and then with the dove, still our midrash, our rabbinic commentary on the Torah, teaches that Noah needs a nudge from God. According to Breshit Rabbah, he even needs more than a nudge. He needs to be actually commanded to leave the ark. We read that God spoke to Noah saying, "Tseh min hateva." Tseh is in the command form. Go out of the ark. And in this midrash, Noah responds to God with words from the Psalms, which of course come later in history, but this is a midrash, so imagining that Noah responds with Psalm 142, "Release my soul from prison." In other words, he's not able to leave yet because he's still stuck. He's broken in spirit and body. And according to the Midrash Tanhuma, one explanation for Noah's dark outlook at this in-between time is, or Rabbi Levi says, neither Noah nor his sons were able to sleep during the entire 12 months in the ark because they were obliged to feed the animals. Isn't that so sweet? Some of the animals had to be fed at the 2nd hour in the night, and some had to be fed at the 3rd hour of the night. And there's a story that Noah once delayed feeding a lion, and the lion bit him so severely that he left the ark injured. Rav Huna says in the name of Rabbi Yossi that Noah left the ark coughing and spitting blood because of a cold he had contracted, with a pained soul and possibly a lion bite injury and some sort of respiratory infection, probably mixed with some PTSD. Noah finally leaves the ark. And with whatever still pains us from the past 2 years, we must too. We also must leave the ark. I won't tell you what leaving the ark means for you, but make a move that supports your own relief, that supports your own healing. Some people are removing yellow ribbons or military tags. Some are adjusting their daily or their weekly prayers. Some are planning a trip to Israel. We have to find a way to take the next step. And you won't be surprised to learn that our tradition also makes room for the grief of leaving the ark. In the Zohar Chadash from medieval Spain, we learn that Noah himself cries when he emerges from the ark finally. Upon seeing the destroyed world for the first time, he screams to God, "Master of the universe, you are called merciful. You were supposed to have mercy upon your creations." We might wail too. At the same time as we celebrate the return of the living hostages, we also mourn the thousands murdered on October 7th and in the 2 years since. At the same time as we smile in relief that Matan's mother can declare the war is over, we also know that the war is threatened to continue if the terms of the deal are not met. We lost our people and others, innocent Israelis and Palestinians, as well as Americans caught in the crossfire of rising anti-Semitism, and others around the world caught in the crossfire too. We have lost some of our sense of security. We have lost some of our trust in our wider secular communities, and maybe a little innocence too. We have lost. The great Israeli poet Yehuda Amichai wrote about this feeling of feeling frozen, confused, and lost. He was writing after the Yom Kippur War. He wrote, "The October sun warms our faces. A soldier filling bags with the soft sand he used to play in. The October sun warms our dead. Grief is a heavy wooden board. Tears are nails. I have nothing to say about the war, nothing to add. I'm ashamed. All the knowledge I've absorbed in my life, I now give up, like a desert that has given up water. I'm forgetting names I never thought I'd forget. And because of the war, I repeat, for the sake of a last simple sweetness, the sun goes around the earth. Yes, the earth is flat as a lost, drifting plank. Yes, there's a God in heaven. Yes. That's Yehuda Amichai. Today, we find ourselves in another October after war, over 50 years later. Again, we are after the flood, but before the dove finds herself on dry land, before the rainbow. We have lost and we continue to grieve. But at the same time, we learn from Noah's story to nudge ourselves to find a way to leave the ark. Will you? I saw a nod. Shabbat Shalom.